Hello bros and welcome to Effect Zero Profile Production. Next part is Sakura Succubus 5. So let's jump into where we left off last time. I'm not alone in my room, as I surmised by the sounds of high heels. Stephanie's maid, the one who greeted me at the airport, is busy sweeping up a broom in one hand, though she still turns politely to greet me. Good morning, Mr. Ogasawara. I hope I did not disturb you while I was tidying. If I awoke you, I must apologize. You may return to your slumber if so desired. Oh no, it's fine. It's pretty late as it is. I glance at my phone, which I left charging on the bedside table, and I take a look. It's about 08:43. I guess it's not as late as I feared. But if I were back in Japan, I'd be panicking right about now. It's not uncommon for me to wake up about 6:30, so I can get ready, grab some breakfast, and take the train to work. I'm used to getting up way earlier than this. I had quite a lie-in, all things considered. Maybe so, but you did have a busy day yesterday. I hope you don't feel too weary from your flight. A little, I guess, but getting some exercise and some fresh air would be better than laying in bed. I think it'd be a shame to come to this beautiful country only to waste my days indoors. I won't be here very long. I want to make the most of the things while I can. Why, thank you. I'm gratified to hear you say that. It's always nice to hear one praise one's own home country. The maid, what was her name again? I'm sure she told me. It smiled faintly. Actually, the first time I read this, I couldn't remember her name then, but I remember it now. It's Elizabeth. She's not a very expressive woman. Her pale face looks like the rest of her body to be carved from marble, but the smile, though small, serves to light up her eyes. Framed by one of the windows as she is, bathed in the early morning sunlight, she looks almost radiant. If it weren't for the black and white maid scarf she had tied in, it'd be tempting to mistake her for the princess. She is certainly regal enough. I'd also hope you enjoy your stay in Astoria, Mr. Ogasawara. As you said, it is a very pleasant country indeed. I myself am very fond of it. I can see why. I have not seen much of it yet, but it really does look like something from a fairy tale. I only caught a glimpse of the streets yesterday on my journey to the palace, but the bits of Rosenberg I caught through the windows looks enticing. I think it'd be nice to go for a stroll through its charming streets alongside Hifumi or Marina or Hazel, speaking of which. I'm gonna say pretty much what I said. Same thing I said first time. I know Hazel has a tournament to practice for, so I don't expect she's still around at this time. I don't expect Marina either, because she has business to also attend to. And I do believe Stephanie is with Hifumi, and probably Hifumi is the one that's still here. So that is what I'm answering. Do you know where Hifumi is? But of course. The maid, what was her name again? I think started with E. Maybe it was Eliza? Bows her head assent. If it is Miss Yamamoto you are after, she's taking a breakfast in the parlor with my lady. Miss Wakatsuki, meanwhile, has left to attend a business meeting, and Miss Williams has gone to the tennis courts to practice. Ah, I see. I nod. That's about as I expected, really. I'm not surprised by my companion's whereabouts, but I'm a little surprised that this maid is so very on top of things. Is it your job to know everything that's going on in the palace? Naturally. The maid nods and, setting down her brush, approached my bedside. As my lady number one maid, I cannot let any detail, no matter how subtle, escape my attention. I must be fully abreast of all that is occurring, so I might properly serve her. Part of being a maid is preempting my lady's wants, so I can satisfy her needs before she feels the need to voice her commands. I would so hate for her to waste her breath when she has so many matters of import to attend. Is that so? I agree. You sound pretty devoted. Talk about being a super maid. I am not so special, really. I simply try to remain focused at all time for my lady's sake. One never knows, after all, where she might summon me. Does Stephanie, Her Highness, rely on you a lot then? Indeed, she does. I do not mind that, though. I like being relied on. It is nice feeling useful, and it is not hard to work for my lady's sake either. She is a sweet kind girl, and she always makes her appreciation well known. I am honored to serve her. Yeah, I get that. I did get along well with my boss before, so I had no motivation to work. It was pretty crowded. He's had to shift recently though, and he has been more complimentary about my work. That makes me feel more inclined to put in an honest effort. Indeed, one's efficiency in the workplace can often be attributed to one's superiors. Nobody likes to feel that their time is not being respected. Actually, I have the experience of the same thing. One person that I worked for, or there was the work leader at that place, because they were not the high top in charge. I actually had contact with the one was actually above her, but she was not very respectful, and pretty much made me not too inclined to work. I worked only at my own feeling. I worked the way I wanted to, no matter what. I actually also wrote down all the things that work leader actually did wrong in the workplace. I still have that written down actually, and I would have turned that in when she really got on my nerves too much, but she actually quit work before that happened. So, well, that never happened, but I could easily have turned it in anyway, but I still have it. I have it ready if I ever run into her again. She did a good number of wrong things, because the way I did work in that place was more efficient than anyone else. I mean, they think that anyone looking at me working, actually, they would think I actually put in my best effort for the workplace itself, but I only work for my own benefit, because even though it's and I work only for myself, it's more than 100%. I mean, I usually overexert myself in work. I love feeling the real burning sensation of energy depletion. I love that feeling. I don't know why. The maid, is her name Eliza? Eleanor? It was definitely something Western odds. Fortunately for me, I could ask for no better employee than my lady. She truly is a credit to the royal family and to her kingdom. Her heart is one of the gentlest, noblest sort. I have never met any woman like her. Whoa. I whistle. She sounds pretty remarkable. I always imagine the nobility as being stuck up and selfish, let them eat the cake, you know, but I guess Stephanie is different. Indeed she is. She's a treasure, as I hope you will soon uncover, should you get to know her. Do you think I could? I frowned. The princess didn't invite me to the palace per se. The invitation was extended to Fume. I'm tagging along as her +1. Wouldn't it be a bit, I don't know, presumptuous for a commoner like me to try and speak to a princess? I do not think so. My lady is often too conversing with anybody from all walks of life, if only they remember their manners. You seem a polite young man, Ogisawara, so I doubt my lady will take umbrage with you. Huh. Well, thanks for the compliment. I'm not sure if I'm all that worthy of it, though. My manners can leave a lot to be desired. I can't be all that polite given I can't remember the maid's name despite my attempts, but to be fair, I was pretty tired last night. It's a bit awkward though, conversing with a woman who knows by my name while I can't remember hers. Is there a subtle way I can ask her about it? It wouldn't look too rude. Well, you can always say, I was pretty tired last night, so it's a little hard to remember everything, but can I ask what your name was again? I mean, it's not rude to ask someone's name if you can't remember it. Actually, I have had that experience once or twice. I always call the ones I'm together with darling, and it has been a few times I forgot the name. But I always call them darling, so it's pretty easy to get away with it. I'm always remembering it after a few minutes anyway, so... It is true your manner of speaking is unpolished, shall we say? Ouch. Is that a polite way of saying I talk like a thug? But I do not think there is anything wrong with it. It's quite amusing, in fact, to hear you speak so within the walls of the palace. It's rare for us to receive guests such as you, Miss Ogasawara. I'm sure the princess will find your company most intriguing. You think? I'm certain of it. As affable as my lady is, it's rare that she has the chance to make friends. Being a princess can be quite isolated. Oh, I can imagine that. She has a lot of duties to contend with herself as the queen of the Succubus realm. It's rare that she's ever afforded the chance to leave her domain. I bet Stephanie's situation is similar. I wonder whether she is even allowed to leave the palace without an entourage of armed guards keeping her safe. It sounds stifling. I would be happy if you would make my lady acquaintance, as I am sure she would. Would she? I would not wish to impinge upon your schedule, but it would be nice if you could speak to her. Oh, sure. I guess I head down to the parlor then. I glance down at myself and still wearing my pajamas, then scratch my cheek. I should probably get dressed first, though. Perhaps you should, yes. As charming as your nightwear is, it would behove you to freshen up. The maid smiles sort of cunningly and bows her head. I shall leave you to it then. Farewell for now, Miss Ogasawara, and if you were in any doubts... The maid pauses by the bedside and looks to me from over her shoulder. My name is Elizabeth. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance once more. Huh? I look at the maid. Sorry, Elizabeth, blankly. I was doing my best to hide my confusion, her name, but I guess I must have let it slip, though how exactly I don't know. Is this woman psychic? All of a sudden her amber-eyed gaze... it's looking pretty intense. How do you know I've forgotten your name? You think? Let's just say I had a feeling. Okay, that expression is very, very Succubus-like. And meaning she know that I had forgotten her name also implies that she might have magical powers. So, that's the two hints that she's a Succubus, at least. Elizabeth laughed softly. I flatter myself I have a talent when it comes to diving the thoughts of men. Yeah, but not women. That's a very actually strong hint to Succubus, actually. Is that another one of your duties as the princess' top maid? Oh no, these instincts of mine are quite divorced from my maidly duties. A maid though I may be, I am a woman too. Please do not forget it. I have desires of my own, and I am not afraid to act upon them. And that's a Succubus laugh. After dressing, Elizabeth leads me downstairs to the parlor where Stephanie and Hifumi are waiting for me, both seated at a fancy-looking coffee table. Stephanie is wearing the same regal blue gown she wore to greet us at the airport yesterday, while Hifumi is always in her kimono. I guess actually Stephanie actually has several gowns in her wardrobe that are very similar. I mean, she always has to look pretty much regal, but a signature dress, I believe all girls actually have that. And if that dress ever breaks, I can guarantee that girl would most likely cry. Hifumi must be wearing contact lenses because she isn't wearing her thick-rimmed glasses. It's been a while, come to think of it, since I saw Hifumi in her spectacles. She looks more like a traditional Japanese beauty when she forgoes them, but I think Hifumi looks very charming in glasses too. It's kind of a waste. Hifumi greets me with a smile upon my entry and says while waving, "Hello dear, I hope you had a good night's rest." Oh yes, it was very... I begin, but I'm promptly cut off by Stephanie. Lizzie, it's a wonderful timing. I was talking about through matters with my mistress, and we both thought it would be nice if we could engage in yet another Karuta contest this morning, but alas, it's not possible for us to play on our own, not without a reader to recite the poems for us. We have both been waiting in eager anticipation for you so that we might begin our game. You would mind acting as a reciter, would you, for an hour or so? Of course not. Nothing brings me more joy, my lady, than aiding you. I would be more than happy to help. Wonderful. Amy and Stephanie claps her hands together. You're so reliable, Lizzie. I knew I could depend on you. Stephanie was actually pretty rude there, cutting me off. It is not, well, ladylike in the slightest to cut someone off like that. Alright, mistress. Stephanie looks back at Hifumi, her eyes blazing with determination. Let us get this show on the road. I cannot wait to challenge you again. You might have bested me during the championship finals, but I've been practicing every day since then. I'm willing to go all out. May the best woman win. Yes, indeed. I'm looking forward to it. Win or lose, this should prove to be a lot of fun. Stephanie and Hifumi relocate upon the floor where they begin preparing the makeshift area for the impromptu game of Karuta. I meanwhile watch them feeling more and more like an interloper with every passing second. What am I even doing here? Elizabeth seems pretty intent on getting me and Stephanie on friendly terms, but Astoria Princess did not so much react when I entered the parlor. She is so fixed upon her rematch with Hifumi, she is not paying me any attention at all. Now, how do I feel about this? Well, this is pretty fun, but I don't think anyone is happy to be ignored by such a cute girl. But I think she's just, I don't think too bad about it. But maybe I can ask Hifumi to console me later. Being blanked more or less by Stephanie's march, but it isn't really, I tell myself, the end of the world. A whole harem of Sakura would be willing to give me attention should I ask for it. After Stephanie and Hifumi have finished up, I should just ask Hifumi to let me use her lap as a pillow. That ought to cheer me up. I'm feeling better, in fact, just thinking about it. Sigh. Since when did I become so spoiled? Well, having Hifumi as wife as technically her role in the harem, well, you're getting pretty spoiled. I mean, I spoiled my cat pretty much. I spoil him with cat candy and even milk sometimes, but I only give him a little milk to not give him diarrhea, because if you give cats milk and you give them too much or the wrong kind of milk, they get diarrhea. So I just give him a little bit so his stomach doesn't protest or anything. The Karuta match between Stephanie and Hifumi raged on for a good hour, but eventually Hifumi emerges on the uncontested victor. Hifumi's motions are so dexterous, despite the trailing sleeves of her kimono, she soon sweeps the proverbial board. She beats Stephanie with a healthy 10 cards lead, in fact with Am I gonna sneeze again? We'll see. A fact which Stephanie rather than sobbing over seems to derive no shortage of enjoyment. There was a good deal of fun. Stephanie exclaims in the wake of her loss. Thank you very much for agreeing to play with me, mistress, though it's so very early in the morning. I remember now why I thought to call you mistress in the first place. Truly, when it comes to Karuta, there's nobody more talented than you. Why, thank you very much. Hifumi giggles while cupping her cheeks with one hand. I'm glad our game proved edifying, though you no need to call me mistress. Your social status is much higher than my own, given you are a genuine princess. I would be flattered if you could instead refer to me as Hifumi. Oh no, I would never dare to be so presumptuous, not when your skills in Karuta so far eclipse my own. I cannot even begin to contents addressing you in so familiar a manner, not while I am still but a lowly pupil. Perhaps if I am ever able to play at a level akin to your own, I might regard you as an equal. But until then, I am so far beneath you, it does not bear consideration. I will call you mistress, else I shall address you as nothing at all. That is the only fitting title of a woman such as you deserves. My. Hifumi girls once more amused. I cannot say I am accustomed to being called mistress. It is quite curious. I wonder if this is how Marina often feels. True, being called mistress is way more Marina's forte. You're more of a wifely type with me, or maybe a big sister type. I quite concur. If you could one day call me Big Sis, dear Stephanie, my heart would overflow with happiness. Big Sis? Perish the thought. I could never. But I see. The present that would not be advisable. Hifumi smiles somewhat forlornly. The mere prospect of calling Hifumi Big Sis has Stephanie so worked up. Her face has flooded crimson. She is stumbling over her words just like a reluctant pony with a broken leg. As friendly as Hifumi and Stephanie seems to be, there is a real barrier between them, and surprisingly enough, said barrier isn't Stephanie's lofty status as a princess. Rather, Stephanie seems to be very starstruck when it comes to Hifumi. She can only regard her as some sort of exalted being. Knowing Hifumi as I do, I am fully aware that Hifumi does like being revered. She takes a pleasure from doting upon others, and nothing makes her happier than performing household chores or preparing cups of green tea. All this verbal kowtowing courtesy of Stephanie must be making her uncomfortable. Still, Ifumi bears with it as best she can. Ifumi being conscious of other people's feelings isn't one to press an issue, not when it will obviously make the other party uncomfortable. She's very considerate. I think that's why I like her so much. Her miso soup, which really is to die for. If you wish to address me as mistress, then I suppose you may. It is doing nobody any harm. I am still unaccustomed to being regarded thus, but I should ease into it due course. Now I take it you wish for me to school you even more intensely in the art of Karuta. Oh yes, if you would care to play even more games with me, I would be overjoyed. I want to get even better at Karuta, and to do so I must learn from the best. I am passionate about the game, so I shall give it my all. In time, perhaps even if I will be able to stand against you, mistress, without embarrassing myself. Then I shall no longer be your hapless pupil, but your worthy adversary. Oh, I will look forward to that. Ifumi bows her head while smiling sincerely. I have faith in you, dear Stephanie. I will teach you all I know until you too will become a fine challenger. Why, you are halfway there already. It was most impressive you were able to challenge me in the finals of the National Karuta Championship. With just a touch more instruction, you could become a truly formidable foe indeed. While you might be the best Karuta player in Japan, you are assuredly the best in Astoria. While I am certain that is true, it's not so very impressive on accolade. Smiling shy, Stephanie begins to toy with her blonde hair. I believe I'm the only Karuta player in Astoria. The game is not all well known here. To become a proper player, one must first be familiar with the Japanese language. That is quite a high barrier of entry already. Fortunately, I have been interested in Japan for many years, and I already had a firm knowledge of your native tongue before I commenced my training. Japanese is such a lovely lyric language. You can imagine my intrigue when I learned of Karuta. The game itself is celebration of your poetic accomplishments. It's truly elegant. I wish more people in Astoria I know across Europe in general would grow to love Karuta as I have, but alas, Stephanie shakes her head. It might be a bit of a difficult sell. Oh well, my love for the game is unsatiable, and I'm sure I will grow to love it. All the more now you are here to instruct me, mistress. I do hope so. Karuta is a lovely game. It's not so very popular in Japan either, but with foreign players such as yourself, it may begin to see more worldwide recognition. If you could contribute to its increased popularity, I would be truly pleased. Then I have to do my very best. Stephanie beams, her face will glow with happiness, but then upon seeing me, her smile falters. Her fervor for Karuta spent, she looks to me shyly and says, "Oh, but where are my manners? I forget. You're also here, Mr. Orisawara, and I doubt your fondness for Karuta runs as deep as my own. I apologize for talking at such great length about a subject you may not find interesting. I just so excited to play against my mistress again, I forgot myself. I've a bad habit of doing that. I tend to get carried away at the smallest of provocations." Ahem. Stephanie clears her throat and, resting her hands upon her chest, says, "Let me introduce myself to you anew. My name is Stephanie Sophia Maria Isabella of Astoria, and I'm the Crown Princess of Astoria, and I am in my 21st year. I love Japanese culture, Karuta in particular, and I have been studying your language since I was a small child. It is very pleasant to meet you. I hope you had a good night's rest. Oh yes, it was wonderful. You don't need to worry on that score. I smile at Stephanie and then attempt to reassure her. I can't remember the last time I had such a restful sleep. Wonderful. I'm most relieved. I would hate to be a poor hostess, particularly when it is in my behest that you came to Astoria thus. While you are residing in the palace, you may of course venture anywhere you like. No rooms are out of bounds, not even my own bedchamber. Which is a very weird thing to say. You may promenade in the garden, enjoy our library, or visit the stables if you so desire. You may also venture to Rosenberg if you wish to do so, shopping and sightseeing. Just ask one of our chauffeurs and he shall be only too happy to escort you wherever it is you wish to go. As for your mistress, meanwhile, Stephanie looks to Ifumi. While I do not wish to deprive you of her company, I will in all likelihood be spending a lot of time with her, honing my Karuta skill. I hope this does not cause you too much inconvenience. Oh no, it's alright. I knew before I came here that you and Ifumi would be playing a lot of Karuta. I know how important this game is to you. Stephanie has only made that like blindingly obvious, and I wouldn't wish to pull you away from it. If Ifumi otherwise engaged, I can always wander around on my own or spend time with Marina and Hazel wherever they're free. Besides, it's not like you'll be eating up all of Ifumi's time. You should still be able to snatch a few hours alone together, presuming you maybe want to spend time together, Ifumi. But of course, you are my darling Hiroki after all. As much as I enjoy Karuta, no other occupation makes me happier than being by your side. I know that the pair of you were a special relationship, so you need not worry about that. I'm not so very thoughtless that I will keep my mistress to myself throughout the whole trip. Even you are both on holiday, you ought to enjoy yourselves. I would hate to keep you away from your fiancé for too long, mistress. Fiancé? Hey, Ifumi, you didn't... I begin, but Ifumi soon cuts me off. She sits closer to me, winding her arm through mine, and laughs and says, "Why, thank you. You are most considerate." But of course, as princess, consideration is one of my middle names. At least it would be if I didn't have so many middle names already. Adding an extra might be a bit too much to keep track of. Honestly, I have so many names I sometimes forget them myself. Stephanie and Ifumi exchange further pleasantries while Ifumi continues to press their voluptuous chest against my arm. I can't say I'm displeased about this arrangement, but I am beginning to feel somewhat perturbed. Since when was I Hifumi's fiancé? This is certainly the first I've heard about it. Despite appearing so demure, Ifumi can be awfully aggressive when she wants. Perhaps mistress would be too ill-fitting of a title for her after all. Hifumi and Stephanie have another Karuta match following their first, which again Hifumi wins with ease. Impressed by her mistress' perilous skills, Stephanie thanks Hifumi anew for her instruction, then permits her to take a break. I would not wish to push you too hard, and it's quite a lovely day for January. It isn't overly cold, and the sun is shining. You should seek to enjoy yourself while you can. Only a selfish woman would want to part a happy couple such as you. That's what Stephanie says, and who am I to disagree with her? I've not gotten a good look at the palace or its gardens yet, given the sun had already set when I arrived here yesterday. I think it'd be interesting to see the palace during the morning, and I have a few words I'd like to exchange with Ifumi. And there's the picture. So that was all I had for... What the hell is going on here? And that was all I had for Sakura Succubus 5 this time. I'll say it language. See you next time. Bye-bye.